toes he goes. Sheep number 2 on the board, done and dusted for the young fella down there on 6. Into the pen he goes. Sheep 3, 8 in the pen this year in this final heat of this Powerco sponsored senior shearing semi-final. Ladies and gentlemen, these shearers are smoking along. Young Geordie Grant, a bit of a different shearing style for him, the young fella from Gambley. Sheep number 3 on the board for him. Sarah Higgins, the lady from Marlborough, beautiful shearing sheep she's got. Down the first leg she goes. She won the women's quality points last night, and it's a credit to her. It's great to see these female shearers up here going toe-to-toe with these guys. Into the undermine she goes. Steps up and breaks that neck will open. Geordie Grant. Up the neck he goes, Willie Tahiri. Up the neck he goes, Linton Palmer. Sheep 3 on the board for him. Another boy from the deep south, Norm. Down the first leg he goes. Undermine time for him. It's right, Norm, I drink TV. Up the neck he goes. Breaks that neck will open, but it's still the young fella down there on stand number 6, David Gordon. Sheep 4 on the board for him. He says, I want to have a real crack at this senior final. I want the red ribbon. But I tell you what, Gordon, if you want to go home with a red ribbon around your neck, you got to earn it. And I'll tell you, it takes some sweat. It takes some real muscle on muscle. There's a lot of heart, a lot of dedication into winning any final at the Golden Shears, ladies and gentlemen. And Sarah Higgins, into the pen she goes. What a beautifully shorn sheep, showing Masterton why she won the female quality shearing award last night. First leg, Willie from Tauramanui, undermine time for him. Steps up and breaks that neck will open. Norm, heat 3, what a cracker this is as well.
Oh, it certainly is, Kerry. Just like the other two, these boys and girls are really swinging into it. They got to, though, if they want to spot in that top 6, because she's going to be a close run thing. And it's a huge event, the Powerco Senior here at the Golden Shears. These guys and girls are up and coming open stars of the future. And David Gordon, he certainly looks like he's in fine form down there on stand number 6, and he's putting his best foot forward. He wants to be one of our up-and-coming future stars. Way down the belly he goes on sheep number 5. Into the first hind leg he turns, so he's got a handy lead on the rest of the field. Up the undermine he sweeps. He's going to step into the top of the head and up the neck just as Willie Tahiti finishes off sheep number 4. Out it goes for Willie. Into the pen he steps, so he's a good third of a sheep behind David Gordon. Sarah Higgins, stand number 1. Definitely the best looking shearer in this heat, no doubt about that. As she steps in, changes her handpiece, and into the pen for sheep number 5. Out comes Geordie Grant right there. 2 South Island shearers on 1 and 2. South Island shearer on 4. Top knot coming off for Willie Tahiti, and he threw it up the neck. He steps just as David Gordon turns for home. But Sarah Higgins, way down the belly, she goes on 1. Up the undermine for Geordie Grant, sweeps up the backbone of the sheep, into the top of the head now. Steps up into the neck area. Linton Palmer finishing off sheep number 4. He's going to be in for his 5th sheep, so he'll be the last shearer on the board with sheep number 5. Steps in and out the young man from Dipton in the deep south down there on stand number 4. Right out over the tail for David Gordon. Sheep number 6 coming out. He's swinging into it. He runs in and out of the pen, not wasting a second. That's the story. Don't want to be mucking about up there. That's how much this means to these young guys. Way down the belly for David Gordon. Flicks it out, turns into the first hind leg. Sheep 6 on the board for David Gordon. Kerry got a nice handy lead on the rest of the field and making the most of it.
Yeah, what a cracking semi-final this is, Norm. I'm just looking up on the board. You look at David Gordon, board penalty points, 0.6. What an animal, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, what an incredible shear he is having at the moment. Young David Gordon down there on stand number 6. He's got the muscle, he's got the grit between the teeth, and down and into the long blow he goes. He's got a bit of a niggler at the moment. just a bit of a tough one. He says, I've got it, mate, I've got it. Undermine time for Geordie Grant. Up the neck he goes. Sarah Higgins. Come on, Sarah, keep the hammer down. We would love to see a female in this senior final, wouldn't we, Masterton? What a tribute it would be to having a female win the senior shearing. Undermine time for her. Steps up and breaks that neck wall open. Geordie Grant. Over the brisket he goes. Young Willie over the shoulder he goes. Linton Palmer down the first egg he goes. Come on, Linton. Norm wants to see as many shearers from the deep south as he can in that final. Keep the hammer down, my man. Keep the hammer down. Cody Gregg down there and down and out the flank he goes. Sheep number 6 on the board for him. Giving David Gordon a bit of a run for his money. He said, mate, I've got this, I've got this. Down the first egg he goes. Come on, Cody. Keep the hammer down, my man. Chuck that belly will clear. He goes, rightio, mate. Here we go. Down the first egg he goes. 1, 2, 3, and undermine time for him. Up the neck goes Gordon. Works his way around the shoulder. Look at the quality points, ladies and gentlemen. Those board points, incredible figures there, Norm. Aren't they shearing well?
Shearing out of their skin, these young competitors. They've spent most of the season chasing these shows around the country, so they're in fine form. They know exactly what they got to do. So a lot of these guys have won competitions around the country, and they're here at the Golden Shears vying for a spot in the top 6. Once they get in there, of course, I think the pressure's off them. To be fair, they're probably feeling more pressure up there right now. Last leg for David Gordon. Sheep number 7, it is on the board. 1 left in his pen. Rest of the field smoking along nicely as well. Linton Palmer, he's got 7 on the board. So out comes David Gordon with his 8th and final sheep. Geordie Grant, Willie Tahedi coming back at David Gordon as they step back. Oh, Willie. Didn't need that one for the last one. It's probably a good shearing one, but it won't sit there. How frustrating is that? So we're round the back of the head for Linton Palmer. Sarah Higgins, way through the long blow. She's on sheep number 7. So's Linton. The rest of the field on 8. They got their 8th and final sheep on the board. But Willie Tahedi steps through and up the neck. Geordie Grant does too. The Amberley man on stand number 2. David Gordon, though, drops into the long blow. He's got it in the bag as long as that sheep sits for him as far as speed goes. Of course, there's more to it than that. That's what them old fellas up there in the grey shirts are assessing. There's another team of them out the back as well. So on the board points, out the back points and time points combined. So it's not all about time. David Gordon knows it, but just looking at his points up on the board, he's well aware of it. Right down to the back leg for David Gordon. Another couple of shots. Oh, just went back for a wee bit. He must have heard me talking about the judges and realised that they were there. And give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen, as he reaches for the time clock button. Willie Tahedi. Nice strong finish from that man on stand number 3. Only a shot or 2 behind at the end of the round. Geordie Grant, good finish from him as well. Kept a couple of good ones for last. And he's all done and dusted. Just leaves a 2 on the board. South Island Shearers, Sarah Higgins from Marlborough on stand number 1. Linton Palmer from Dipton in the deep south on stand number 4. Up the neck goes Linton into the base of the air. Sarah just a few shots out in front of him. She sweeps up the backbone of the sheep, steps across with her left leg, wraps the head round her right knee, and turns for home. She comes off for Sarah. Into the long blow for Linton. And it's just waving at the crowd with his back legs, folks, but Linton's got it under control. It's not too much of a problem for him. Down the last side for Sarah Higgins. Right out onto the back leg. Down over comes Linton Palmer, just the last side to wipe off. And he'll be looking for his button. But Sarah Higgins, another beautifully shorn sheep, out the hole for Sarah. Well done, Sarah. Top 18. Is she going to go through into the 6? Time will tell. Linton Palmer sweeps out the back leg, another few shots, and he'll be looking for his button as well. And he's going to bring to a close the Powerco sponsored senior shearing semi-final. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, all our senior shearers. Of course, we're going to be saying goodbye to 12 of them. We'll just be bringing the 6 top shearers back into the final later on tonight. Looking forward to seeing the results of that one and finding out who exactly they're going to be. So the next event on the card, ladies and gentlemen, is the Abraham Shearing Women's Shearing Invitation. And we'll just hold fire just for a couple of seconds while Sarah gets her gear sorted. So big thanks to the Abraham Shearing team, Parata and Kushler and the team for their support of this, the woman shearing event. Great to have some of these top woman shearers here. Of course, both in New Zealand and Australia and abroad are witnessing a resurgence of woman shearers, that's for sure. There's some very, very good female shearers all around the country at the moment. A lot in Australia as well. And of course they're coming out of the UK, and we're seeing the UK girls competing here at the Golden Shears. Katie Reid is one springs to mind, doing very well in the junior. And of course we have some top woman shearers here in New Zealand, New Zealand born and bred girls, and a few of them were on that She Shears movie. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. It's a very, very good documentary just about girls and the challenges they face in our industry as a shearer. Used to be a male-dominated industry, but on the stands that is, but not anymore, because some of these girls are as good as the guys, if not better, and a lot of them really leading the way for rural women. And of course, as a sport, we're very, very proud of how these girls perform. We just witnessed Sarah Higgins in the senior semi-final, hoping she gets through into the top 6. Very talented, very strong, very strong.
Welcome back to the Golden Shears here in Masterton, and beaming live out of the Masterton War Memorial Stadium for the 2019 Golden Shears. We're halfway through the last day, Saturday morning, and as we've said all along, the stadium is absolutely buzzing. There's been lots going on. There's some heartache going on as well. There's a lot of tears being shed out there at the moment. So some of these top athletes have just not made the cut, and we'll have Doug Lang come back to you a little bit later, and we'll talk about it in a little bit more in depth. But it is our privilege to welcome our cousins from across the Tasman, from across the ditch, a young birthday girl, Deanna Johnson and Jeremy, and they're special because I was pulled up by a couple of Australians last night, and they said, "It's our daughter over there." And I said, "Why is she here?" She said, "Well, she wanted to come to the Golden Shears. That's always been an ambition, and to do that, they've celebrated her 21st birthday here at the Masterton at the 2019 Golden Shears. So happy birthday, Deanna.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So are your parents a bit out there, are they?
Oh, a little bit. A little bit too much, probably.
A little bit too much. And we got them on the kiss cam too last night, didn't we, Toby? Look, why you're here is you do have some synergy with sheep shearing and show sheep shearing and things. So you're based in Longreach?
Correct.
All right. Tell us what happens in Longreach.
So Longreach is quite the hub of the tourism in the Outback, and we run a business out there called Outback Pioneers, and it involves, we have a river cruise, have boats, a paddle wheeler that goes down the river, and we have a stagecoach which is drawn by horses, and we also have a no-go station tour, and we do shearing demonstrations on that tour as well. So that's pretty much us.
Are you the shearer?
I am the shearer.
You don't look like a shearer.
Oh, well, I am.
It's a wonderful thing. So we're just trying to sell it. Anybody, even a model, could be a sheep shearer as well. Hey, Jeremy, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your job at the museum?
So at Outback Pioneers, it's my family-run business. Me and my brother, we drive stagecoaches together. We pull the coaches with 5 horses in the team.
A big team.
Yeah, team. Yep.
Yep.
And we take tourists for rides and that out into the scrub and do a gallop and that for them when they on the way home.
Okay. And is this 365 days a year?
No, we do it for 7 months of the year, and that starts the 1st of April. So when we get home, we're full into getting it all ready and getting ready for the tourist. We start at the 1st of April and then finish up the end of October every year. So just the cool months.
The
of the year.
cooler months. It's you're not in that.
Yeah. Because at the moment we're reaching 40 degrees or above every day. So it gets pretty hot, and we don't get a lot of travellers through there through the summer months.
Okay, and when you're doing the sheep shearing, it's a little bit. We have in New Zealand called the Agrodome,
Right.
and there's also a sister team in Japan where they do that as well. So, how many demonstrations a day would you be doing?
I just do 2 demonstrations a week. That's the only amount of tourists we get.
Yeah.
We don't do it every day. But twice a week. We do get a lot of school groups come through, school groups of 140, anywhere between 100 and 160. They come through and we just do a demonstration and we talk about shearing for them as well. So we don't do many, but we do reach out to quite a few people. We do have a lot of international travellers as well, from China and America. So it's good to reach out to them as well. And a lot of people...
New Zealand.
In New Zealand. Hey, thank you very much for your parents and their. I just happened to be sitting there, and they shuffled up to me and said, "We've got somebody here that's celebrating a birthday. She wanted to do it in her 21st birthday. That was the gift. They brought you to the 2019 Golden Shears.
Yeah.
Next year we've got our 60th birthday, so you better put it in your calendar, and we'll make it back. Is there anybody you'd like to make a shout out to?
Oh, probably my brother back